Hey everybody, it's Al with BobCAD today. A couple of days ago I put up this post on my Facebook page for this tool design, and if anybody was interested in seeing how to create this design. So I figured I'd want to go ahead and do that. A lot of people seemed interested in it. The other thing is I want to say hello to all the new subscribers. I've seen a couple of new subscribers coming in lately, so welcome aboard. Again, my name is Al. I work for BobCAD, and I create all the BobCAD After Dark videos. I do these videos to help new and existing users with the BobCAD software, and I also do it for myself so I have a reference for topics that I've covered over the years. So if you guys have any comments or questions, you can always comment the video below or email me directly. My email is al@bobcad.com. Keeping it real simple. All right, so here's the part that we're working on. Now, what we want to do is we want to take this drawing here, which is just a flat 2D drawing, and we want to turn this into a 3D solid. Okay, so a couple of things that come to mind. I mean, we have a lot of dimensions and information on here, but keeping it simple, we have a top view with an internal profile, and we have an end view. And these are really the two sets of geometry that we're going to need to use, okay? So if you look at this other file over here, what I've done is I've done a little geometry preparation, and I've taken parts of this drawing here, and I've laid them out on different layers of what I need in order to construct this as a 3D model. So you can see I have all my different layers over here. I have the tool profile, I have the ID profile, and then I have these different cuts here. And even though this looks like a pretty complicated part, when it comes to designing this, really, I'm just using revolved surfaces and I'm using extrude cut. That's all I'm using in order to create this model, okay? And when I'm done, we're going to get something that looks like this, okay? So, let's kind of look at some of the steps that we would take in order to get some of this information, okay? So you have all of this geometry that's on the screen here. And if we go to selection mode, you have a selection mask that you can use. And this is actually really handy. What you can do is you can turn everything off, and then you can choose just those things that you want to select. Like in this case, I'm going to choose all the dimensions, and I can window pick the entire dimensions in text. I can window pick all the geometry here, and it will highlight all the dimension in text. Okay, I can also do this with lines or surfaces or points. It's actually a very useful tool. So in this case, I want to get rid of all the dimensions. And I can go through, and you can go through the layers, and you can turn things on and off. That works as well. In this case, I'm going to use the blank feature. The blank feature is this closed eye looking icon here, and when we activate it, what it's asking us is to select what we want to hide. So I'm going to click on the blank function. I'm going to turn off my mask here, and then I'm just going to select text and dimensions. I'm going to window pick everything and then hit my space bar. And what that does is it gets rid of all the text that's on the screen. Okay? See how that was a real quick and easy way to get rid of that information. You know, the next thing that I look at is when I created this tool profile here, really I just came in and I grabbed the profile of the tool, so I'm going through and I'm selecting this geometry here, picking each of the lines along the way. Usually I'd want to chain select this type of stuff, but the way that this is laid out, it really doesn't make it easy for you to do a chain select. So I'm going through and selecting these lines. You have zoom to cursor. So you just roll out, roll in, and you select this profile down the line, okay? All right. So this is actually pretty easy to do. Once we have this profile, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it, okay? So I'm going to go Edit, Copy, Cancel, new file, edit, paste. And then now I'm going to end up pasting that into a new file. Okay, so from here, what I can do is I actually want to move this to 0. And let me go back to this file here. I want to move this to 0, so what I'm going to do is I'm also going to grab this geometry on this side, edit, copy, cancel, go over to my new file, edit, paste. All right. So in order to get this on the center line, I'm going to put a point on the midpoint of this line here. Okay, so this would be my center line. And then I'm going to translate this over to 0. So to translate it, I'm going to use, I guess I could use drag, but I'm going to use sketch enter, pick and enter. I'm going to pick a position and then enter a position. I'm going to window pick all this geometry here, and then I'll pick that point there and cancel. And now this is move this over to center line. Okay, the axis display I want to turn off, so I'm going to just go show axis turn off, and now I have this part profile. Now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim up some of this geometry here because I don't need some of these lines, so I can trim that stuff up. And really the end caps I'm going to get rid of as well. And that's how I get the profile of the part. Create a new layer, tool, profile, and I'll take this geometry and move it over to that layer. Okay, so now it's on its own layer. So, and I can do this for all the ID, the pockets, whatever I need. I can select them and I can put them in their own file. Now, one of the reasons why I put it in their own file is I don't want to edit the original file. I don't want to lose any of the information on the original file. Okay, so again, for like this profile here, I can select this geometry as such, edit, copy, go to my new drawing, edit, paste. I've pasted this out in space here. From here, I can put a point on the midpoint of this line, and then I can translate that over as well. Okay, so I can do utilities, translate, window, pick this geometry, grab that point there, and that gives me this profile. Now with this profile, what I need to do is, there's a couple of things I need to do. I need to trim up some of these areas here. Okay, and then the other thing I need to do is I need to I need to box it in, because what I'm going to do is cut this profile down. So to box it in, I use line continuous. I'll do horizontal, vertical, and I'll grab this section and just go up like that and over like this. And then I grab this section here and I'll go over and up. And now I have a cutting profile. I will want to make sure it chain selects, so I'll go to selection mode, shift left click, and I'll make sure it goes all the way around. And again, we just continue to do this process for all our different layers, which is really easy to do. Okay, so I have a couple of layers that I've done here. That was my cut profile. One of the things that I did a little differently with the cut profiles is I moved them into their Z position, or where the bottom of the cut would be, so I could extrude up and be able to cut it away. I did this to make it easier for me, A, to remember what the depth was, and B, to know that when I extrude, I just extrude up. And I've done this actually for all my cuts. I put them in space where they need to be in relation to the model. Okay? All right, so from here, let me go ahead and delete this model here. Let me get rid of this guy. And my CAD history tree, I'm going to have all of this stuff here. And these are all the steps. And this is kind of important. With the software, you do have a CAD history tree, and this history tree has all the different steps that you've taken to create your design. Like I did a revolved surface, I did some planar surfaces to cap the end, I stitched it to a solid, I did another revolved surface, did another revolved surface, capped the ends, stitched it to a solid, Boolean subtracted away. Then I started doing my extrude curves, then I did a rotate, then a Boolean, then extrude, rotate, Boolean, extrude, rotate, Boolean. So it's really easy to see the steps that you've done in your design. And then also if you needed to update your design, like if your geometry changed or a location changed, you can go back and you can edit the wireframe directly. Okay, so let's go back to, let me undelete this. Let's see if I can undo that. We'll go back to this one here. So this is my tool profile. We'll do cut one. Let me move this over. All right. So with our tool profile, what we do, just like I did in this this drawing here, I did a revolve. Let me blank that out. I did a revolve surface, and you can see how the ends are open. And then I did a planer on that end, a planer on that end, and then I stitched it together. So that's what I would do here. Generally what I'd like to have is a center line, so I can choose my center line. Let's make this -5. We'll make this 5. So I have a center line here, and then I'll just make this into a dotted line. So I know that's my center line. So I can choose my center line. The reason why I do that is when I do the revolve surface, so I'm going to do surface revolve, I can do 360, and I can pick an axis, so that way I can pick the axis of rotation. All right. Now there is an option that says with caps here, I guess in some scenarios that works. What I've found is that capping off the model yourself actually works really well. So there we've revolved the profile, okay? So we did the revolve. Now when we come in here, we need to cap these ends off. So that's surface planer, and I pick this end here, and I don't need the wireframe. I can pick the surface edges, which is really kind of nice. I pick the surface edges here, and we've capped that off. And then from here, we'll just stitch these together. So we're going to do stitching, stitch surface to solid, select all, spacebar, and then now we have this as a solid model. Okay, see how that works? All right, the next thing that we're going to do, let's go back to this sample here. I'm going to grab my ID profile because I already have that ID profile set up. And the ID profile, I'm doing the same exact thing. Now the difference that I did with the ID profile here, let me do, okay. The difference with the ID profile, if you see the model, what I did is I extended the end of it out. So it wasn't right on the edge of the part, I extended it out. I also did that on the little drill hole that's in the front here too. Okay. And the reason why I do that is when I revolve this, so we'll do, well, okay, we'll leave it here. We'll do surface, revolve. When I revolve it and then I cut it away, it will extend past the edge of the part. And that's really what you want. So again, we'll do another planar surface here, cap that end off, and then we'll do another planar surface here and cap that end off. Okay, this one is utilities, stitching, stitch surface to solid. So now we have a solid there, and then I'll do the same over here. Now we have a solid there. So now that we have those two solids, what we can do is Boolean them away. So this is solid, subtract, keep this, subtract that, we lose that one here, keep this, subtract that, we lose that one there. Okay, so again, we're building our model, and we're doing a good job. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to look at doing is this this cut one here. Okay, so again, you can see how this one's at Z0. Okay, and that's actually not where that cut begins. So let me just remove that one. We'll go back to this file here. We'll go to cut one. We're going to take this profile, edit, copy, bring it over to here. Control V, and we'll paste it into this file here. Okay, so it's important to know that you can copy and paste in between drawings. Now, if you're wondering, where I'm getting these values from, if we look at our drawing here, these values are actually, for where the steps are, they're actually on the drawing here. So if we look from, let's see, measure, entity, so if we go from here to here, this will give us a distance 810. And if we go to this drawing here, and I measure this entity, this should be at 810 in Z, and it is 810 in Z. So we got it off the drawing. Okay, so from here we have this this shape here. Now I could do an extrude cut here. There's different types of modeling. One of the options would be surface, solid extrude cut, and I could take this shape here and I can pull this up, make sure that it intersects with the model, and cut it away. That's one way I could do that. If I do it that way, then it requires me to rotate my wireframe around the model. So if, what I would need to do at that point is I would have to rotate. This is the x-axis, so this would be 120, and I need 2 copies. So I would have to rotate that for each of the faces, okay? And then from there, I would have to do, let's say, solid extrude cut. This one, let's see, I could do them all separate. Let me see if I can do them all at the same time. So let's say this one, and this one. Okay, so you can't do them all at the same time because they have different normal directions, right? So what you would need to do is do each of them separately. So you could go like this, and then you can go like that, making sure that it's going to the right direction. So that's one way to do it, where you rotate each of the faces, each of the boundaries, and you extrude it away. That was not the way that I chose to do this, so let me undo that. The way that I chose to do this was to extrude the first shape like this. We'll get this going the right direction, okay? And then once I had it extruded, then what I did was a rotate. So then I did utilities, rotate. This is the x-axis, so 120, 2 copies, and then I rotate that around, okay? So now that I have that done, then I did a solid subtract, keep this shape, subtract this one, and this one, and there you can see we have our cutaway. Okay, makes sense? All right, so moving forward, the next one that we have here, we'll just do cut 2. Again, cut 2, this has come off the drawing, and then we measured the depth from the end view. So I'll just copy this geometry here and come over to here, and then we'll add another layer, cut 2. When you copy and paste, if you make the layer active, that's the layer that it will be created on. And you can use Control-C and Control-V as well for copy and paste. All right, so now we have our next profile. This one we're going to do the same thing, surface extrude curves. We'll select this profile. It will move its way up. We'll choose OK. From here, we're going to rotate. This is going to be in X, 120 degrees. We're going to make 2 copies. We'll choose OK. So now we have that. And then from here, we're going to subtract. And as you can see, we're getting our cutouts. So we're going to continue to move through these processes. And as we do so, we're going to, be resulted with the design that we have. Now, this is going to be part 1. Part 2, I'm going to go into the machining of this. If you guys have any questions or comments or feedback, please reply back to the Facebook, the YouTube, or whatever thread you see this video located in. If you like it, let's get a thumbs up. And if you have any comments, you can always comment in the video. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much.